Okay, welcome to our next edition of the Davison Download. I am Michelle Edwards. I'm the Director of Public Information for Davison Community Schools, and today I am joined by Amy Chorley. She's our Assistant Superintendent for Student Services, and Carrie Chanter. She is with Genesee Health Systems.
Yep.
Carrie, what is your title with Genesee Health Systems?
I'm the Director of Prevention, Health, and Wellness.
Okay, great. Amy, let's start with you. We're going to talk in this edition about the holidays. And while for many of us, the holidays, it means, baking cookies and family time and shopping and holiday parties, it's easy to get caught up in that hustle and bustle and forget that sometimes the holidays are a time of anxiety, a reminder of loss and things like that. How do the holidays affect our students? I mean, do we see that? Do our staff members see that?
Yeah, that's a great question, Michelle. So there's plenty of times where students are, like you said, they're excited about the holidays and they're ready to go and they're happy to have that 2 weeks off. And then for some, there's another side where, although they might be excited to not be at school and have those 2 weeks off, there also is a level of anxiety with that because there might be some insecurities at home. There might be some unsureness or instabilities just outside of the school setting, maybe not necessarily with home, but just in general. And so they might be feeling a little anxious or unsure of what's about to come. So we definitely see that in our student population, just like we see with our adults too. So it's not uncommon that there's a level of stress or anxiety that comes with the holidays as well.
Right. And I want to go back just a few minutes to, so you're the Assistant Superintendent of Student Services. Kind of tell me a little bit, that's a huge, that takes in a lot of things. So tell me a little bit about, tell everybody what is entailed with your job, your responsibilities.
Sure. Well, with student services, so with my role as assistant superintendent, in addition to the supervisory part of our principals, the Office of Student Services itself serves a lot of purposes within the district. It's sort of like the minutia of student life that's non-academic and non-athletic. So we have, under the umbrella of student services, we have special education falls under that, where our director of special education, Dana Melarani, is within my office. We also have, if a student has a 504, we have medical services run through student services. We also have McKinney-Vento, which is our homeless act, that runs through student services. Major discipline also goes through student services. I collaborate with the counselors a lot in regards to services that can be provided in the school for students. We collaborate with GHS for mental health services as well, and other community opportunities that provide that resource for families. And then in addition with you and your office in communications, we do a lot for our security and safety initiatives in the district as well.
Yeah.
So
going back to that, working with Genesee Health Systems, tell us a little bit about how Davison Community Schools has kind of partnered and used their services, some of the things that we've done probably within the last year, 2 years?
Yeah, so the past 3 years, I believe we've had a great collaboration with Genesee Health Systems and Carrie itself. We've had a big connection. But we do have a memorandum of understanding, or a contract, if you will, with them, where they do provide us with some services specific to our district. So, and other districts in the counties as well. But for our district particularly, what that looks like is if we have a student in crisis at the building that would benefit from outside mental health resource that's beyond the scope of the school, we are able to contact the UCare mobile response team through GHS. We contact them and we partner with them, and they have someone come out and facilitate support for the student and the family as well. We also have what's called their community mental health worker. That is for our secondary level, 7th through 12th grade. And so that person doesn't necessarily work with the student, particularly in the school, but they are an opportunity. They're a resource for families.
Okay.
And that they're kind of like the conduit between the family and outside resources. So that's what they're available for. And then the third aspect that we have is what's called GHS skill acquisition groups. And so those are outside social workers or counselors that come in from GHS. They work with our counselor. That's who the connector is for that in the building, and they facilitate groups such as they might do a
We have anger management.
Anger management,
There's
yeah.
some trauma, some of those. And sometimes it's just real simple skill building, like
Yeah.
prevention type of stuff.
Self-management.
Self-management, regulation, keeping
didn't
friendships.
We do like a vaping stop for
We have
prevention?
had a vaping cessation group as well. We
Yeah.
did that for, I believe we had a couple opportunities for that, and we're trying to brainstorm and
Yeah.
figure out, and I know other districts are trying to
Yeah.
figure this out too, is how to expand upon that.
Yeah.
Because that is a tricky content area, but also so very needed, and it was so successful when we piloted it for sure. So that is more to come on that.
Carrie, tell me a little bit about your role with Genesee Health System.
Sure, thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yeah.
And so I primarily oversee, most of your listeners hopefully know that we have a mental health millage in our county. And we're about I can't believe it, we're almost halfway through a 10-year millage.
Oh, wow.
And what that's allowed us to do is open up our services where we weren't really able to do a ton in the schools before. We didn't have the bandwidth and we weren't really able to bill for that stuff. But now the mental health millage has allowed us to open up the stuff that we can collaborate with schools, just like Amy was talking about the 3 different things that Davison has with their MOU. So part of my job is to kind of keep the relationships and the connections going with the schools, making sure I'm kind of like the coordinating piece, making sure everything is going up, okay, and what
Like
can
the
we offer you?
conduit?
Yes,
Okay.
conduit's a good way to put it. So that's part of my role. We do a lot more now in suicide prevention than we've ever done before because we just haven't, we haven't been able to do that. So excited to we have a community coalition that's pretty active and lots of different trainings that we've been able to offer in the last 5 years to people in the community. So we work with schools. Part of my role is working with schools. Also, a lot with suicide prevention, which actually Hope Squad is something that Davison has up and running.
Yes, we do actually do have
So
at our middle
excited.
school. We have the
Yeah.
Hope Squad, and that has been very successful. Last year was our pilot year.
Yeah.
And we had a great turnout for students. And so our middle school counselors are a huge piece, are the piece for
Yep.
that, and they are the ones that are organizing that and running that.
Tell
So
me a little bit about the Hope Squad, one of you guys. I mean, I know we have it in the middle school, but
Sure.
what is the Hope Squad for people who might not know?
That's great that you're asking. So Hope Squad is an evidence-based program that kind of was developed in Utah. Actually, it's been around for a while, but it's kind of taken fire across the nation. Every state has Hope Squads, and the Hope Squad is based on this thought that kids don't tell their parents, teachers, coaches everything, but they do talk to their peers. And so the peers are kind of and they're trained through this program to be the eyes and ears for these kiddos who might be displaying at-risk behaviors or talking about warning signs. So it's training the kids to listen for different things that people might say or post online. What we're seeing is a lot of the warning signs for suicide could be different things that are posted online. And so sometimes we, who are a little bit more removed from the teenage culture, we miss things, and that's easy to miss.
Yeah.
And so we're training the kiddos through a lot of evidence-based training to not be the therapist. We're not asking them to be a therapist. We're asking them to be a safety net. And we teach them how to listen, how to see warning signs, but also who to tell. And that is what that whole premise is. Now, each school district, which is so cool about Hope Squad, is each school district that does it so differently. And it's
Really?
amazing to see. Like, sometimes they have Hope Week in March, sometimes they have it in May. And what does Hope Week mean? And what does everyone do? So really, it is on us. The school, as far as GHS goes, we're just there kind of as TA, like technical assistants. We help support some of the legacy costs. But really, Davison's made an investment in this, and it's so important. And I wish every single school in the county would be doing this. We have some momentum. We don't have all of the schools on board yet, but we're working on it, and many are and have a lot of success. So kudos to Davison for doing that.
Well, I appreciate the partnership we have with you, Carrie, because you guys have provided us. I mean, you called us right away when you're like, hey, we have this opportunity. I mean, you were very an integral part in helping us get that started at the middle school. And I think the Hope Squad is a peer-to-peer support program, just like our Links program is for our students with special needs. But this is, again, just teaching those those students, because we're not in student life, we're observers of it. And so it's teaching the students, again, what are the things that you can do to help support your peer that might be struggling during this time. And it's really getting information to an adult as well.
Yeah.
Like, get them help.
Yeah.
And so, because like Carrie said, our kids are at times are not willing to do that, or they don't confide in the adults like they do with their friends and their peers.
It also provides another opportunity for kids to become engaged in some sort of club or project.
Yeah.
Because sometimes, and again, kudos to Davison, you have a lot of opportunities for kids, whether it's athletics or clubs or band and things like that. But this is just another opportunity for people that might want to help. And so,
Yeah, definitely. Absolutely.
So kind of going back to our theme of the holidays and feeling ho-ho-hum for the holidays, what are some tips for parents whose child might be struggling?
that's so important to think about. And just like you opened it up, like we always think about everyone has to be so happy
Yeah,
around the holidays, when the reality is many of us are not. And that's not just adults, but that's also kids, because they're in the setting where the adult is high strung all the time trying to do all the things. So when we think about tips for parents, the biggest thing I would say, lower your expectations. We don't have to go to every single event. We don't have to do large events. If we go to large events, we can leave early if it's exacerbating any kind of depression or anxiety symptoms in your child or yourself. Maybe you pick one thing instead of 5 things, and it all doesn't have to be done. Gosh, I just got my tree up not that long ago, and I'm looking at all these people. I'm guilty. I look at people online like, wow, they got it all together, when in all reality, they probably don't. So my tips are to keep on schedule. When they're off school for 2 weeks, they might not admit it, but that schedule is important. So if you can try to keep on routine, keep on schedule, same bedtime, same habits, like healthy food, exercise, that type of things. But most importantly, if you are noticing symptoms in your child or yourself that are worse than ever, seek help. There's nothing wrong with seeking help. This is a hard time for a lot of people. And so at GHS, we have 24/7 support. You could call. I have a number that I can give right now. Actually, it's probably important. So I would recommend, if you are in crisis, to call 810-257-3740. And that's our behavioral health urgent care. And we're really lucky because there's not a lot of urgent cares for mental health in Michigan. I think we're only one of 5. So the fact that we have that access to that in our community is really, really valuable. In fact, I took my mother there not that long ago. Because I couldn't find anyone for her to talk to, and this was our way in. And she was talking to a professional within hours of her crisis. So it was really, it was a great thing. So I would just recommend getting help, getting your kiddo to be seen. Our normal customer service hours, you can also call that, and they're going to help you. A care manager is going to talk to you, ask the right questions, and go, okay, is this a crisis? Should you go to our behavioral health urgent care? Or let's just set up an outpatient appointment in the next couple weeks. And you guys in Davison have a new outpatient clinic. Super pumped. I don't want to
Yes,
take
we
that
do.
question from you.
No, go ahead. Tell us about that. That's now
Yeah.
right next to, I think, the urgent care, Hope Urgent Care, right?
Hope.
On Lapeer
Yep,
Road.
Yep.
Yes.
So Davison is one of our outpatient clinics. For a long time, GHS really only were able to provide like moderate and severe mental health issues, but now like just chronic depression, chronic anxiety, things that are normally just treated in an outpatient setting, we have that. So we're really excited. One of our locations, our satellite locations, is in Davison. And they can always walk in, or if they want to call ahead of time, they certainly call. They can call 810-257-3705. I would recommend calling first, just because you want to set up an appointment and the whole process, and they'll take you through that. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Amy, so kids are going to be off for 2 weeks. What other resources might they turn to, or a parent might turn to if there is a crisis?
Yeah, so just traditional ones that we've had in place, and I again would encourage you to have those. We'll put these resources on our website for families from GHS and the urgent care numbers that will be available. But we also have OK to Say. Students can reach out to that through text, email, and go on our website for access to that. And then, of course, for those who are having those moments if they feel like they need another additional resource, in addition to what Carrie provided, 988 is what we need students to call and or parents to call as well, because that will hook you up again to another resource. And if it's an imminent threat, they will call 911 also. So that will hook you up to an instant connection too. So there are resources out there, and we ask people just to reach out for help. And then, as Carrie said, just to reiterate that, to not do everything, do what brings you joy, and also just keep those routines, but also just breathe and take a break as much as possible. And for our students, again, if you yourself, you're a parent, or a friend is struggling, please reach out to that OK to Say. We have a partnership with them as well through our school district. We at times will also get calls from OK to Say as well when there's a student in crisis. So please use the resources that are available. And again, we'll highlight those this week on our website and through our newsletter also.
And I think the bottom line, too, is to know that it's okay not to feel okay or to be happy. And I think, the stigma, I think through efforts through Genesee Health Systems, honestly, and, what's going on in the world and social media and things like that, I think it's okay to say, I'm not okay.
It's getting better.
Yeah.
I would say the stigma that it still surrounds mental health and substance use treatment. People have been so scared to get help for so long, they're like in the shadows. But I feel like in the last 10 years, it's okay. Like you're mental, you matter, right? Like all of the different campaigns that we see, it's okay. We need to treat mental health just like any other chronic illness that you might have. You need to just get treated.
Yeah.
And it's often like the brain is a muscle you have to work out. Talking to somebody is working your muscle out and working your brain muscle out. So you've got to work it out just like every other muscle.
Yeah.
And so I agree with Carrie, the stigma is getting, it's less and less of a stigma and more acceptable, but we still want to make sure people are accessing the help and have the avenue to it.
Yeah.
So.
Okay.
sure.
Well, Amy, thank you for joining us. And Carrie, thank you for joining us. And just like Carrie said, you do matter. So we will see you after the first of the year with our next edition of the Davison Download. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thanks, Michelle.